and welcome to Community Connections Group and Radio Show Diversity Breakfast, sponsored by the great Churchill Downs. How's everybody? Give them a hand, y'all. Give everybody a hand. Is everyone having a good time so far?
Yes.
Okay. Everybody's been networking, passing out cards, making business deals. Don't forget my birthday's coming up. Everybody gets a business deal. My birthday's in August, so don't forget that. Need my birthday gift. Haven, are we live yet?
We are live.
All right.
We're live.
Let's go live.
All right.
Welcome to Community Connections Group and Radio Show. We're doing our diversity breakfast from Churchill Downs, and we are now live streaming on our website and on YouTube Live for the whole world to see. So thank you, Haven, for setting that up.
That's our man.
Good morning, guys. How you doing?
Good morning.
Good.
It's been a long morning, Bruce.
Yes, it has.
Yeah, it's been a long morning. So I'm excited to be here.
I am too.
You know, we do a radio show for 12 years, guys. We're on every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. to 8 a.m.
Yes.
So if you happen to wake up early in the morning and you want to laugh and get some good information, make sure you tune in 104.7 FM. It'll be myself, Stacy, and Bruce on there, and Stacy is usually bossing me and Bruce around.
Oh,
so
man.
Somebody's got to keep them in line, ladies. Y'all know how it is when you're working in. Somebody has to keep them in line.
And they gonna clap for you too.
That's right. That's right. The ladies know. Thank you, ladies. Thank you. And if anybody knows Mo, James, if you know, I call him Mo, and Bruce, then you know you have to be a strong sister to deal with these two. On air, live every Saturday. Okay.
All you do is bully us.
it's it. Bully us, and it won't let me eat any cake or cookies or anything.
It's not supposed to have it.
She's rough on us. But anyway, I want to give a shout out to this Churchill Downs team.
Yes. Yes.
We have a great staff here.
Yes. Thank you all.
These ladies have been rolling out the red carpet.
Yes.
Everything I asked for, they went beyond the call of duty. Everything I didn't ask for, they already had it set up. So I want to thank you for that. And then it was my first time getting to ride around in the golf course, Bruce.
Oh, man.
That was kind of exciting, man.
Yeah.
I thought you was a celebrity.
I felt like Dollar Green, man. You know, he's a celebrity in the house. Felt like Dollar Green right there. So that was interesting, man.
Yeah.
So let's get right into the program, guys. We have a lot of great speakers here today. A lot of great organizations are being represented here today.
Yes.
And we're glad that you're here. We're glad. Did Tom Wine already step out? He had to leave early.
Yes.
Tom Wine has been a partner with Community Connections Group for almost 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And Tom goes back when we had the football team almost, 20 years ago?
Yeah, at least 20.
We had a youth league football team as well, Jewel Park Trojans. So I want to give Tom Wine a shout out for always keeping the city safe, making hard choices, dismissing those charges on Kenneth Walker. So all that stuff. So we appreciate Tom Wine. Thank you, Tom.
Yes.
Even though he's not here, he's my main man.
And you know what? He always shows up no matter what we do. If it's a food giveaway, he comes, he shows up, he get his hands dirty, he's passing out food, boxes, whatever he needs, he just jumps right in.
Tom shows up, man. He shows up. I'm not too sure about him getting a tan on his legs. So Tom's gonna have to work on that a little bit. But Tom is always there. He's the first one to grab a box off the back of a truck. He's also the first one to write a check when we feed the homeless. We feed the homeless every 3 weeks, and we give away food boxes on Thursday. So any proceeds that we raise from today go towards that. So at the end of the show, we'll ask you to make a $15 donation. $15 will feed a family of 6.
Yeah.
So if everybody has $15, we can feed some more people this week. So so we'll ask you to do that a little later on. But again, we want to get right into the program.
Yes.
We got some great people here. One of the people, well, you still eating. I was going to call you up, Miss Ann, first. But before we do that, get my man up here to sing.
Pop your break. See, you always go on. See, I got to keep him in line. First up, listen, if you have not heard this young man sing, I don't know where you've been at, because he's been all over the news. He's been on morning shows. He's been on night shows. He has been...
He was on the Community Connection Show.
Connection Show. He has sung national anthem for Cincinnati. a lot of the proteins.
All the late night talk shows.
He's been everywhere. So everybody put your hands together for D.C. Johnson.
Okay, let me tell you right now. This young man is a superstar, okay? When you hear his voice, you will understand how I used to sound 20 years ago.
I did not sound like that. Don't lie. That's what he said on the radio station. I know he's telling the story right now.
Whenever you're ready.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we held at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rang out, the bombs bursting in and gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
That's what I am talking about. All right, let's do
Amazing. Give him another hand, y'all. Give him another hand.
Yes.
Let me tell you something, man, about young people. We got young people sprinkled in the back of the room. They always go to the back of the room. Some of our young people that work in our programs, our reading programs, our basketball programs, the soccer, the after-school programs. We have to invest time into our babies. That's the only way that we can make a difference.
Yes.
This young man could be doing anything else. He's traveling the country singing.
Yes.
So when you see him, embrace him and love him and encourage him.
Yes. And matter of fact, he can't do it without his parents. Corey and Nene, stand up. So
All
everybody
right.
can see his parents are. And then we got his voice coach here also. If you want to stand up so we can recognize you. Yeah. So as we always say, it takes a village. And as parents and as the village, we have to invest in our children and give back. You know, because everybody.
Also, people don't know this. Nene is one of the baddest hairstylists in the city.
Yes,
she does my hair.
Wait a minute.
So I thank you, Nene, for keeping me on point all the time. So thank you, Nene.
Without the blue hair grease?
Without the blue hair grease. Up next, we're going to keep this rolling because we are running a little behind, and we apologize for that. But up next, we got Pastor Larry coming up. He's our first speaker. Give him a hand, you all.
Give him a hand. As he comes up, if you have not been to the Table Restaurant
Yes.
in Portland,
Yes.
you need to go down there.
Good food.
The food is fantastic. The atmosphere is fantastic. And the thing I like the most about it, if you don't have money to eat, they feed you anyway.
Feed you anyway.
So we pay forward. And when I go in there to eat, I buy a couple of lunches for somebody else who's coming behind me who may not have it.
That's right.
This is a man who moved. I know you're going to talk about it. I just got to say it because I love you, man. He moved his family from the East End, bought a house in Portland, remodeled the house, opened the restaurant up, put the church down in Portland. This is the ministry now. This is the kind of people that we need to uplift.
Yes.
Because he is committed and he believes in making positive change. Because if everybody who has resources moves out of a neighborhood, that neighborhood becomes a depressed area. So we have to have people moving in neighborhoods where we have some great resources. So I didn't mean to say all that. I'm sorry.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
Welcome, Pastor Larry. You have the microphone. God bless. All right.
Hey, I ain't mean to turn the mic down on him, bro. I said on these two.
Yeah, you've done said it all, brother. We'll sit down and eat some more eggs. I get so excited. Oh, that's all right. I am Larry Stess, and I'm the pastor at Church of the Promise. And some of you have probably been to the church and didn't know it. You know, when you came to the Table Cafe is Church of the Promise. And like James said, it's a place where everybody has a seat at the table. And it doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter if you live in a big house or live under the bridge down the street. You have a seat at our table. Doesn't matter how much money you make and how much you can give or how much you can pay. You have a seat at our table because everybody is welcome at the Table Cafe. Now when we started that cafe, we said to each other, we don't want to be a church with a cafe. We want to be a cafe where church happens.
Amen.
You know?
Right.
5 days a week, Monday through Friday, church happens at the cafe 11 to 3. Now the church and the Table Cafe started in a little after-school program right down the street on the same block. Right there behind the cafe is Beard Alley, and our church started in a little after-school program called the Portland Promise Center. And like most after-school programs in the city here, folks like to give us free stuff, you know. And folks like Dare to Care, Kentucky Harvest, they bring us free food. And when somebody would bring in like some milk, we would always have to put the milk under what my friend Shane calls the sniff test. Because you don't want to give your children spoiled milk. So it has to go under the sniff test. And so what we want at Church of the Promise is when you come and eat with us at the cafe, or you come and hang out and worship with us at our church, or you become into our little relationship group, we want to pass the sniff test. You know, we want to smell like Jesus. We want to look like Jesus. We want to act like Jesus. We want to love like Jesus. You know, Gandhi was once asked what he thought about Christianity, and he responded. He said, I love Jesus. I just wish the Christians acted more like him. And unfortunately, some of my evangelical brothers and sisters and some of our churches in the city, we don't pass the sniff test. We don't smell like Jesus. At the Church of the Promise, we call that the red letter challenge. You know, some Bibles have the words of Jesus printed in red. And we like to put those at the top of the list. We like to try to put ourselves in this place where we think Jesus meant for us to do what he said. We like to take Jesus seriously. So we listen to the red letters and try to live like that. Now, I'm sharing this for a reason, not to critique the performance of local churches in our city, but to lift up the importance of the sniff test. You know, if we want to bridge the 9th Street divide, and if we want to dismantle racism in our city, and if we want to help build social equity, and if we want to bring economic development into the West End, our leaders and our developers, especially the white folks in the room, we have to pass the sniff test. We have to check our motives and our strategies. They must be legit and helpful. The community benefit of our West End neighborhoods must be at the top of the list, far above our personal benefit. Metro Council, you got to pass the sniff test. LMPD, you got to pass the sniff test.
Right.
You know, Churchill Downs, you got to pass the sniff test. Real estate investors and developers, you have to pass the sniff test. Are your plans and your strategies, do they include our neighbors in the West End or do displace them? Are you taking time to listen to the neighbors, listen to their dreams, their hopes, the things they've been planning for generations? Are you willing as a developer to come along beside them and put their plans above your own? Are you willing to invest your resources in ways that really brings lift and benefit to the neighborhood? We need responsible revitalization that ensures what I call gentrification with justice, not gentrification with the placement. If you have any hope, if we have any hope of building a city that is just and righteous, where it values the citizens in every corner, and treats everyone as if their life matters, we need transparency and accountability on all levels. We need forums like this, James, where we can have honest discussion with each other, where we can ask questions and listen for truthful answers, where we can meet people we don't normally associate with, where we can meet people who don't look like us, act like us, or vote like us. We need prophetic imagination, where we can create models of community development where financial gain is not the only bottom line. We need to be willing to put ourselves under the sniff test. You know, I've lived in the West End now for 22 years. And the one thing I've learned about my neighbors, they can smell sour milk a mile away. If you want to be a part of the solutions to the challenges that our city faces, don't bring spoiled milk to the party.
There you go.
That's all I got.
One thing about Pastor Larry, as you can see, he always takes us to church with good information.
Yeah.
So give him a hand as he goes back to his seat. And stop by the Tangle Restaurant. And stop by the Promise Church as well while you're down there.
That's right.
How you feeling all right? If you just joined us live on the air, guys, you're at Community Connections and radio show Diversity Breakfast live in Churchill Downs, where me and Bruce are working hard, and Stacy's just sitting over here watching us work.
Yeah.
So thank you guys for tuning in.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. And, are you done?
You see what I'm talking about?
I'm sure he's done, y'all.
You see what I'm talking about? Al, you see what I'm talking about? Booker?
Whatever.
We go through this every week on the air.
Yeah.
Every week on the air.
I just
So
want to make sure you're done.
I'm done, Stacy. Thank you for asking.
You're welcome. You know, I am a little polite and I want to be. So, up next, we're not going to waste any time because we're running a little behind. I have my sister. I'm so happy to see you again, Miss Ann. She's going to be up next. We have Ann Hagan Grigsby. She is the CEO of Port Duval. So, give her a hand, you all, as she comes up to the podium.
Miss Ann from Port Duval. Give her a hand.
That's right. Give me your beauty pageant wave. All right.
Yes, I'm good. I'm seasoned, so I'm grateful for the hand up. Thank you so much, James, and I'm having a senior brain, the whole team. Yes, but Bruce works for me. He works with me at Park Hall, so I don't know why I didn't remember Bruce.
Miss Ann, you know he is not going to let you live that thing.
No, he is not.
You forgot about me.
I'm seasoned. I'm retiring at the end of this year because the seasoning is getting a little bit too spicy. But I'm blessed and honored to be here today. Thank you all so much for inviting me. I don't have a prepared speech, but I'm just going to talk to you all about some stuff. First, I'm not from Louisville. I'm from Washington, D.C. I can talk really fast. Okay. So I'm going to make sure I don't talk as fast as I used to so that everyone can actually understand what I'm saying. I'm wearing African colors today because I'm Juneteenthing all month long.
All right, yeah.
Juneteenthing. You know, emancipation made an enormous difference for us as a people of color. But what made a difference for me was that I was born as a preemie. I was brought into a foster home. I ended up being adopted by that foster mother in D.C. They were illiterate, but they had worked really hard and became wealthy. She had a lot of foster kids and summer camps for kids who were low income by investing in real estate. But the mother didn't learn to read till I was in elementary school, I guess. And coming from that kind of beginning, you're not expected to be in this kind of position. But what I learned from her is that the same thing that Muhammad Ali used to say, that service is the rent you pay for living. Yeah. Well, that's all she did was serve other people and give other people opportunities that they would not have had. Put other people's kids through school and to college because she never had an opportunity herself to even go to high school. So it taught me all of my life that the only reason you're here on earth is to give back. So I'm just going to give one little quote from Dr. Martin Luther King. Of all the forms of inequality, injustice in healthcare is the most shocking and inhumane. Injustice in healthcare is the most shocking and inhumane. And we have injustice in healthcare in our country. And Park Hall Community Health Center's goal is to bridge that gap. We're trying to make sure that you don't have any excuses about getting healthy or being healthy or staying healthy. We want to make sure that obstacles that keep you from getting the health care you need go away. Those things called social determinants of health are only influencers. They don't determine where you are. They just may influence where you are. So we want to make sure that those kinds of things aren't happening in our communities with our people. We want to have long, healthy, productive, joyous lives. And you can't do that if you're ill. And you can't do that if you can't afford your medications. And you can't do that if you don't get behavioral health services when you need it. And you can't do that when you can't get dental care so you can smile and maybe be able to get that job and feel comfortable enough to actually smile and do that. And you can't do that if you have to worry about transportation issues, because I don't know if I love TARC, but if you've ever ridden TARC from one side of the city to the other, it takes a while. It takes a minute. It's challenging for many people to get to us. And so what we do is a couple of different things. First of all, I'll do a commercial. We're the oldest federally qualified health center in the Commonwealth of Kentucky.
Yeah.
Yes. We're a national quality leader. We're not just that clinic in the hood. We're a national quality leader. So we're the top 1% to 2% of all health centers in the United States and its territories that are federally qualified health centers in terms of quality outcomes for our patients. Our patients are healthier than most other patients. They benchmark against all the other FQHCs in the world. And we're in the top 1% to 2%. So, what does that tell you? It means a lot, but it means that you're going to get quality of care. I've had people ask, do you have real doctors? Yes, we have real doctors. We have real nurse practitioners and real dentists and real psychiatrists and real behavioral health specialists and technicians and licensed clinical social workers and nurses. We have real. We're real. And our patients are very diverse, but our staff is too. We're like the United Nations. And it's like our world. We don't always all get along, but we are striving to be better every day. So I'm going to give you a quick, and you have to keep me on time because you know brevity is not my strong suit, right? Okay, so most people know the clinic in the West End off of Wilson Avenue in the Park Duval neighborhood. How many people know about Park Duval, that one? Okay, how many know that we have a clinic at 15th and Broadway across from the Fifth Third Bank? Okay, well, Barbara Second-Smith, yeah, she's the one who brought that up, said we need a clinic over there, so, we have a clinic at 15th and Broadway on the corner. Okay, how many know that we have a clinic out in Pikes Point? A few of you, that one's out in Bardstown Square. We're getting ready to build a brand new building at 3828 Bardstown Road to replace that old one in the strip mall. It's too small. It's bursting at the seams. So by the beginning of next year, we hope to have a new building built on that location. If anybody has any pull with Metro permitting, please call them for me, please. But we have, did you all know we had a clinic in Pleasure Ridge Park High School? No. We have a clinic in the high school. Did you all know we have a clinic in Central High School? No. Okay, some of you know the Central. We have one in Central High School. We're looking at trying to open 3 more school clinics between now and the beginning of the fall semester. Did you all know we're excited about that. Now, we're hoping it works. We can't do anything without the federal government saying it's okay. So we're in the process of submitting a bunch of papers, a bunch of documents, and a bunch of reasons why we need clinics in those schools. JCPS told us where they want us to put them, and we're going to try to do it for them. Did you all know we have a clinic in Taylorsville, in Spencer County? No? Okay, there ain't even a hospital in Spencer County. Did you know we have a clinic in Henry County, in Newcastle?
No.
Okay, there ain't a hospital in Henry County either, and there are no dentists. Did you know we have a dental van? I'm going to do a lot of did you knows. We have a dental mobile van that will come to Central High School, Pleasure Ridge Park High School, and Henry County. And we can change that model so if the need exists, we can probably bring it to your home. But, if you know a dentist who wants a full-time mobile dental job, send them to me too. We just got OBGYN services and pediatric services and behavioral health services. We have a CLIA certified lab. See, I'm still on my commercial. The CLIA certified lab that we have is multidisciplinary. It means we do a little bit of everything, including genetic testing and COVID testing and HIV testing and STD testing and all the regular panels you can get at LabQuest and LabCorp and Quest. But, okay, this is pop my collar if I had a collar. There are only 2 multidisciplinary labs like ours in the Commonwealth of Kentucky. They get 100% on their CLIA surveys annually. LabQuest does, LabCorp doesn't, Quest doesn't, U of L doesn't, Norton's Hospital doesn't. Park Duval Health Center's lab does. And Covington, Kentucky, St. Elizabeth's Hospital's lab does. We're the only 2 in the state. We believe in accuracy and we believe in quality. So don't just think you're coming to a little old clinic in the hood somewhere. Our patients that we serve deserve the best. In a country as rich as this, no one should not have access to quality health care. Everyone should be able to get quality care regardless of what language they speak, regardless of what color they are, how old they are, where they live. It should not matter. It's a social justice issue. And if we fix the health care issues, that still doesn't fix all the rest of the challenges that are going on in our world. Education, jobs, equality, making sure that there's equity and non-discrimination, make sure that there's reform in the police and in schools. But if you're not well enough to even participate in what's going on in the world, then you're experiencing that injustice and inequality. that Martin Luther King says is the most inhumane. So they aren't raising their hands yet, so I'm going to keep on going real quick. So I hope you have a flyer like this on your table. There should be more somewhere. We're having a COVID vaccination-a-thon at Chickasaw Park on July 10th in collaboration with the NAACP. It's going to be like a festival in the park. It'll be vendors and food and music and live radio, but we'll be doing vaccinations for COVID and COVID testing. We really need people to look at that as a reality and a need. I know there's some fears, but please consider getting vaccinated if you have not been. You know, I know most of us, we're not wearing masks in this room. About 42% of our population in Kentucky have been vaccinated, but that's not enough. We need more people to be vaccinated to keep themselves and their families safe and our community safe and healthy. Over 600,000 people did not have to die if we had had vaccine in time, and we didn't. And more don't have to die if we all get vaccinated. I mean, this is serious. It's not a political conspiracy. It's not, fake news. It's real. It's a virus. And we also have this on your table. If you want us to come to you, we will put our COVID vaccine in a temperature-controlled cooler, drive it over to wherever you are, your place of employment, your church, and we will go ahead and do it right there for you so you don't have an excuse to come somewhere else. You don't have to get in your car and drive, so just scan the QR code, request it. It takes you to a form, request vaccination event, and we will bring it to you. We have so many different services that I haven't mentioned, and I don't want to take up everybody else's time, so thank you all very much for being with us today.
Thank you, Ms. Ann, for sharing that information. If you're just now tuning in live, you are live with Community Connection group and radio show Diversity Breakfast, being hosted by Churchill Downs.
Now, Miss Ann, when you talk about you need some doctors, a lot of people don't know I am a doctor. I just don't have the schooling behind it. I'm a barbecue doctor, but I'm willing to come down there and pull some teeth if you need me to.
Lord.
So just let me know. So I'm qualified to make pork and chicken and hamburgers and hot dogs and bratwurst, but I'll come pull some teeth.
Week before last, he was Dr. Love. He had all the advice for love. And
I'm a love doctor too. Al knows about that. I'm a love doctor too.
He say 3 of my marriages.
Yeah, thank you. You heard it. I helped him with 3 of his marriages. You heard that?
So his advice was not that great. You want to do a raffle real quick before we bring up the next
No, we're going to do the raffle later. We'll move through the program. We've got some great gifts to give away. But I want to bring up my man, Dollar Green, man. My man, Dollar Green. As Dollar comes up, man, I want to talk to Tim over there at Derby City Gaming. How you guys doing over there? I want you to know, the last time I was there, I won a little bit of money.
You didn't get in.
So it felt really good. So I'm coming back tonight. So if you can make sure the slot machine number 17 wins at around 7:30, I appreciate it over Derby City Gaming. You guys stop by there, so we appreciate you guys being a partner as well. Thank you so much.
You know he don't shy.
Wait a minute, and if he wins, text my phone so I know to ride out there.
Listen, you guys watching live on YouTube and on our website, me and Bruce are here working hard at the Diversity Breakfast. I want to say it one more time.
Whatever.
And this other person is just here like she is every Saturday on 104.7. That's
I'm here running it.
Yeah.
okay.
That's just my guest today.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this man really needs no introduction. Al, come here. Come introduce him, Al. Come here, Al. Come here.
That's right. Come on now, Al.
Al. You're here. Look at Al.
Look at Al's baby.
$2,000 suit on YouTube. Look at that, boy. You look good, man.
You look good.
Boy, you look good, brother. Thank you. How you feeling today?
Hey, I'm feeling about as good as you, James. I'm trying to hang with you. You're clean as a stack of napkins. All right, everybody. I want to introduce you to a young man that I met out here through a friend of mine, Sherman Brown. He was telling me about a young man who overcame a lot of diversity, who overcame a lot of different things in his life, and how he's out here successful now, and how he's like a role model for people in, coming through things, recovery, and, just real good guy, right? So I met him. You know, I'm like, everybody's going to say that about their friend, right? So I met Dollar. Now, first of all, I don't give anybody color credit. If you're a rapper, I'm a rapper, you got to be good. I don't give Eminem or anybody any credit just for the color. But if you're good, you're good, right? The guy's good. So I've been working with him, and he has an excellent message. He has a new album coming out called Face Off. His first single off the Face Off album is called Mama, I Made It, talking about his success from what he's done and where he comes from. And right now, he wants to bless everybody with a story about a boy.
Thank you, Al.
Thank you, Al. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm honored to be here, man. Just to be brief, I want to get straight into this story, but to help you kind of understand the context, I come from a single-parent home, addiction, alcoholism. I was a full-blown addict in 7th grade. I sold drugs all through school. Arrested by 19 at gunpoint, charged with trafficking charges, went to prison, was so fortunate to find myself at the Volunteers of America here in Louisville, a long-term residential treatment center. I've been sober ever since, you guys. I own 3 businesses. We employ about 30, we provide for 30 families who work for us. And, you know, I'm so fortunate because I've been doing music throughout that whole time, and I had this plan here that I could share this story, the story about a boy, in such a way to inspire others, because let me tell you, this opioid problem is not going away.
Right.
And there's a lot of people who are in a lot of pain, a lot of families just ripped apart. And, you know, I had this dream of sharing my story through it, but I realized very quickly that God's plan for me is far bigger than my dreams could have ever been. Like just last week, Andy Bashir, out of nowhere, is speaking at an event. He uses my story as the example of what it's like to go through recovery and have success. And, you know, this whole week I've been in private jets and at foreign cars shooting music videos, and like you guys, I'm just living my dream. And I'm here to share that story with you in the hopes that we may connect through our pain. And I'm going to go ahead and get right into it. So it's just, let me talk to you. I just need a minute. I'm going to tell you about a boy who was never going to be shit. He grew up addicted, had no siblings, but still everything he had to share it with mental illness. You see, his mother had it, and it was just them. It's like it was them against the world and them against the system. They were caught up in a trap that was designed to keep a slave in prison. Let me talk to you. Are you even paying attention? I said they were caught up in a trap designed to keep a slave in prison. That's the 13th Amendment. Mm-hmm. They say the sky's the limit. The sky's not the limit. Mm-hmm. I mean, who you kidding? He knew that was just a gimmick. How somebody touched the sky when he can't even touch the ceiling of the trailer that he lived in. Mm-hmm. It was broken down and lived in. She went to work. He was alone. No one to care about how he's feeling. And his mama was depressed, so he knew she wasn't trying to hear it. Every day she'd say she want to die. She'd keep on begging God to end it. And he's just hiding in his room and acts like he don't even hear it. He wished to go away, but he keeps coming back to visit. He'd hear her crying on the phone, keep saying the word evicted. He didn't know what that meant. But he knew it would change how he was living. Look, he was only 9, but in his mind he had to fix it. And he had heard mention of God, but it was faint and only whispers. And he thought, if his father didn't want him, then how's the one in heaven different? Yeah, the struggle's real, I know. I watched him live it. This story is for anyone who's been caught up in that system or who's ever been to sleep with no heat, no lights, cold nights. I'm talking nothing but heat from a stovepipe. But this about the boy and his mama, they were so tight. They had a trauma bond, and he would seek that out his whole life. She persevered, never even cared what kind of purse she wear. She lived for him, but looking at him, she couldn't help but feel all the pain in her heart his dad had left her there. She never left from there. When she wasn't crying about a man, and she was crying over late bills, and he was 13 when he sold his first pain pill, was the same still. Didn't change nothing. She went to work more, and he would stay blunted. She moved a man in, the boy would take from him. He'd sell his weed at school. He loved to make money. They went from state-funded to shrimp and steak money. She knew what he was doing, but she wouldn't say nothing. Listen, she was never scared, but the boy, she was afraid of him. She'd find guns and drugs, and she would pray for him, but it was too late for him. There was no turning back, because he would spend 20 and get 100 back. He fell in love with that. He couldn't get enough of it.
By high school, you could get anything you want from him. Still wasn't enough for him. Was never enough for him. It wasn't the drugs. It was what they done for him. And his mother told him it wouldn't last, that they would come for him. They come for him. They had guns drawn, talking about get down on the ground for him. They found more than enough. He would go down for it, but they'd hold it down for him, right? I mean, he had connections until his girl started messing with his best friend. Then his next friend. Then his next friend. Yeah. He began to question everything these rappers ever said because shit was real different. His definition and theirs of what was real different. He started to feel different, looked around and realized that no one was here with him. There was nobody down to ride, nobody sitting in this cell with them. The hell with them. This wouldn't be the end of his story. Victory over hardship, he's built for it. He'd kill for another chance to rewrite his story. So he grabbed a pen, he wrote the script for it. He had a gift for it. It was something like a sixth sense. He packed his bags, man, and he ain't seen a pen since. That sentence did exactly what it was supposed to do. He swallowed pride and did what people that are sober do. He told the truth, trusted God, and cleaned his mess up. They told him if he kept going, it would be like he never even messed up. Within a couple years, the boy was blessed up. He'd use his story to help others who had messed up. As a matter of fact, the rumor has it that he's still at it. He makes music. They say it helps heal addicts. He was real bad once. He's helping them through real battles. Real battles that most know nothing about. So that's the story of a boy. And of course, there's more to it. And maybe next time, James, we'll get more into it. But there's a moral to it. Something for you to think on. You should think on. Thank you all so much. There's a card on your table. If anybody wants to follow that story or connect, you can scan that, tap it, and we can be connected on social media. Thank you all so much. Thanks.
You're listening live to Community Connection radio show, the number one diversity breakfast, the number one morning show on Saturday morning.
That's right. We're right here at Churchill Downs.
Have you noticed, have you guys looked out the window when you came up in the Turf Club? Did you see how beautiful this place is, man?
Really,
you know, I'm going to have to talk to Mike. I almost want
to talk to Mike.
I want to live here. I want to live here.
Now, you took it too far now.
No, the terrace is over here. The terrace is over there.
Yeah.
You can see all the horse racing, all the city of Louisville. The food was fantastic. I want to thank you guys for the food this morning.
Yeah.
So it was fantastic. So, hey man, this is a great place. So I want to come back. So let's bring up our next person.
Yes, let's do that.
One of my good friends. Go ahead.
Okay, Sean Spencer. If you want to introduce him, because you know it's your friend. I mean, like.
Well, let me, Sean.
He got a story for everybody. So even though I introduced him, he'd be like, let me say
a
something.
payroll company, employment service, a grass cutting business. Sean's just all over the place. Come on up, Sean.
Come Sean, where you waiting on? I done already said your name.
She is a professional, strong black woman doing it, bringing people together. And Sean, we're so glad to introduce your business this morning at the breakfast. So if you would, come up and talk a little bit about what you do in the city of Louisville. You're fine, sister. Good morning.
Welcome. Good morning.
Good morning. And welcome to the breakfast.
Thank you. I did actually prepare a speech. Otherwise, I would probably out-talk Ann and fast-talk Ann. I am from Louisville, but I still talk fast. Okay. I actually have a story. Well, James, are you going to help me here? Oh, that's gonna. That may be good. That is a little bit better. Thank you. And it hides me looking down because I need bifocals.
I'll just hold it.
Here, I got it. First of all, good morning to everyone. I'm so happy to be here in a room of compassionate volunteers and community organizations that have made an effort to be a part of this community and to move this community forward. I'd like to thank Churchill Downs for the great food. Anybody that knows me knows I cannot cook, but I love to eat.
And that's true. You can't cook. That's true. I've had her cook.
You're fine. I wanted to take a few moments to introduce you to one of our programs that we're most proud of. It's called the Perfect Path Program. We work with young adults 18 to 24 years old by removing barriers and supporting them on their journey to adulthood. Perfect Path is a combination between my company, Tryman Solutions, which provides HR consulting, workforce training, and staffing for employers here in the Kentuckiana area, and Wibby's Foundation. Wibby's Foundation is a nonprofit that focuses on young adults, helping them to learn how to navigate in the world. And so we are very proud of this program. One of the components of our program is to volunteer and to have community engagement. So every young adult that comes through our program, they're tasked with volunteering and engaging in the community around them for a certain amount of hours every 6 months. So that gives us the perfect opportunity to partner with Community Connections. Our participants have a myriad ways of volunteering, and it's good because it works in their favor as far as their careers, their interest, and just some of the areas that they're also curious about. One of the things that I wanted to talk about today is my personal connection with Churchill Downs. A lot of times we've talked about the 9th Street corridor. We've talked about that it was a barrier. We've talked about how we need to bridge the gap and to close the connection. And I know Churchill Downs has made a special effort to lead that. And I know we need other organizations that also lead us and are also putting forth an effort. But I want to tell you a story about a little girl who lived in the Taylor Boulevard area, less than a mile from here. Went to Old Jacob Elementary School, went to Southern Middle School, walked to Wyandotte Park for swimming and playing, walked to Iroquois Park to hang out with my friends. As a teenager, we cruised the park. Not one time did I ever think of coming to Churchill Downs. I didn't come to an event here. I didn't come over here and tell my friends, hey, I'll beat you to Churchill Downs and back, because we ran them. We had to walk, bike everywhere we went. Never did that. Churchill Downs was not in my orbit. It just was not part of my life. My first volunteer activity was probably in the 4th or 5th grade. It was handing out the little Red Cross metal pins that you put on your lapel or collar. You collect money, little boxes. That was my first volunteer. Fast forward 15 years or so, I'm in college, still volunteering. I've got a night volunteer gig answering a hotline, middle of the night, on the weekend. Not the most glamorous job. Important? Yes. Glamorous? No. On the flip side, my brother and sister, they had glamorous jobs. They were running errands on Millionaire's Row. They were helping corporate sponsors and corporate entities that had tents. I didn't even know you set up and had bars out with tents. I only saw what you saw on television. They were assisting tour guides at the Kentucky Derby Museum, giving tours. They were running lunch errands and things for people, taking pictures with celebrities, all that stuff. I didn't get to do any of that. And all of that was possible, not necessarily because of where I lived, which was on the inside, the right side of the 9th Street corridor. They got all of that because my mother was also a volunteer. Volunteered for the Center for Women and Families back when it was with a Y. Always has volunteered. Well, someone recognized her work ethic and her volunteerism and offered her a job here at Churchill Downs, doing the job that she wanted to do, marketing. Once she came to Churchill Downs and started her job in marketing, it opened up a whole new door for our family. Not as much for me as it did for my brothers and sisters because we're so far apart in age. My mother was on the committee with all women that worked to get a grant from Duracell to have the book, the greatest black jockeys book created. Yeah, I love it. Yeah. Great book. Great table book, too, if anybody wants it. I think it's still in publication. It may be in the museum as well. She also brought in black trainers and black horse owners to give classes at the Kentucky Derby Museum and made a special effort to invite everyone in the community. This was decades ago. I'm not going to tell how old my mom is, but it was decades ago. So she has been working to do that while she was here, and what she's always said was that Churchill Downs supported her when she started to talk about the absenteeism of black history in horse racing. And I was appreciative of that. To this day, my brother's nickname is Wink, after James Winkfield, the black jockey. His first job was at the Kentucky Derby Museum. Now, I personally think he got it because he was sucking up to the managers while he was here on site. Not an HR term, just something that I said about it. For them, they said it was because he was a great volunteer. To this day, when I run into his coworkers and former managers, they talk about how great he is, and they ask how he's doing and what's going on. So he got to have the job at Kentucky Derby Museum, and I got to stare a pot of beans at Taco Bell for my first job. So not the greatest thing. But the purpose of that story is to say it's not too late. At any age, you can bridge that gap. We can learn our history right here. We can be inclusive right here. When we talk about the 9th Street divide, closing the gap, we need to make sure that we look beyond the geography. We know what the 9th Street divide was intended to. It was an economic tool to undermine, undervalue, and separate the races and the socioeconomic classes. Through volunteerism, we can expose our young adults and we can expose them to new experience and new opportunities. And that's what it's about. I think someone earlier said, when you're volunteering, you get to meet at new people. You get to be around new races, new areas. You get to learn new things. Well, that's exactly what we're doing here. So now, part of my family fabric is Churchill Downs. As an HR professional, I'm here once or twice a year, usually for the liquor, but don't judge. But I do come for the HR Dawn at the Downs. I'm not a morning person, but I'm there. My sister, her and her sorority friends come every year for a girls' day during the Derby. My brother's constantly here. Our children have all been here. For them, it's nothing. They come all the time. They come to take pictures. They come and bring their friends. And when I was in college, I brought my friends to Louisville to go hang out in West Louisville so we could cruise and eat. You know, my daughter's friends come to the track. We've changed the fabric. We've changed the makeup. And that's what it's all about closing the divide. So thank you. I appreciate everything Churchill has done for us. And thank you, James.
When we talk about, give Sean another hand. Thank you, Sean. We're very close to wrapping up, okay? But when we talk about the reason we have these breakfasts, it is to effect positive change in our city and in our neighborhoods. So when you leave here today, you have to have hard conversations with family. While I'm walking out here to the barber section, play that song. Turn down a little bit. I want you to be able to hear Barbara. When we think about what we must do in our neighborhoods, what we must do in local government, what we must do when we talk about reparations, can you just tell us, while that song is playing, how we can change our city?
All right. First, let's give it up for James Linton and the team on the dais. James does this to me from time to time. I had no idea he was coming to me. And those of you who've heard me speak before, hang on to your checkbooks. I'm not going to ask anybody for money. And I'm not going to give a sermon. And I'm not going to talk a long time because I didn't see it coming until I saw James walking toward me. James, how are we going to change Louisville one person at a time? We're going to change Louisville one neighborhood at a time. There's 74 neighborhoods. We're going to change Louisville one elected official at a time because Louisville deserves a safer, stronger, more just community for everyone. Can I hear an amen? Amen. Yeah. And we're going to do it together. Not one man, not one woman, not one child, not one person anywhere, not one entity, not one elected official can make it happen. We have to do it together. And we do it at the table of life where we get fed and where we get our bread. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. It's your government table. It's your business table. It's your nonprofit table. It's the neighborhood. It's the table of healthcare, the table of education, and the table of transportation. It's as easy as 1, 2, 3. I'm talking about ABC. When you go into that voting booth, that's coming. My message this morning is about voting. Protect our voting rights. Protect them. Let your officials know locally, state, and federally that you want everyone to have an equal opportunity to vote. Do you want people to be able to vote? Let me hear it.
Yeah.
All right. Are we going to go vote? Yes, we are. And together, James, we'll create a great connected community for all that is safe, healthy, educated, and free from poverty and oppression. Together we can do this. Yes, we can. Thank you all.
Amen. Turn it up a little bit. Hey, with this Zoom room. What you can do today, not for yourself, what you can do to help somebody today. It has to be about service to others. When I look around the room, these organizations, these businesses, help one person today. This is my challenge. That is our challenge for Community Connections. Help someone today. This next person I would like to bring to the microphone. Many of you know him. He's a TV star. He's the president here at Churchill Downs. Mike has a very, very interesting story of where he's come from. So I hope you talk a little bit about that. So help me welcome Mike Anderson, President Churchill Downs.
He lied a little bit. It's an interesting story. I'm not sure that that's true, but wanted to thank the Community Connections group here, Mr. Linton. Appreciate that. He's the first breakfast I went to with him, I found out he was a world-renowned jockey. Although I did not see him out on the track this morning, so we're still waiting for that. And then the superheroes of Wayne and Stacy. So I appreciate you putting this together once again, and happy to be in partnership with you guys. Wayne called me synced up pretty well, except for the shirt color. So next time we'll get it going on. But also want to thank our Churchill Downs team, the Vince team, broadcast for helping set us up. Our Levy's team for a fabulous breakfast. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Kathy Shercliffe, who is instrumental. She is the reason that we get to do stuff like this as a company, to get involved with all the community connection groups. So very thankful for Kathy to get organized this. So good morning, everybody, and I hope welcome to Churchill Downs Racetrack. I hope you got to enjoy the festivities this morning. Thanks for getting up early. If you got a chance to watch the morning workouts of the horses. Just to be clear, Churchill Downs does not own any horses here. We just own the facility. So I think some people don't know that, but we don't actually own horses. So all the horses, the human athletes and the equine athletes you see out there, this is 365 days a year operation. So these trainers, these owners, these horsemen get up every single morning, 4 and 5 in the morning, every single day, even on December 25th, even on January 1st, and that's their life. So there's a heavy passion for what they do, and we're so thankful that they produce the product they do with our equine athletes and our human athletes, that we get to enjoy such a beautiful and majestic sport. So I hope you got to enjoy that this morning and pet a horse and be involved in that. So sometimes when I come in and I'm stressed out, I come in early in the morning and I just go out there and I sit and I watch the horses work out. It's really a soothing experience for me. So I'm lucky to come here every morning and have that opportunity. So So we are only 317 days away from Kentucky Derby 148. So if you ever remember the voice of Churchill Downs in years past, John Asher, a few things he would always say. He would always give you the time clock of how many days till the next Kentucky Derby. And he would always say it's always sunny and beautiful here at Churchill Downs. And once again, John delivered with a beautiful weather today. So this sporting event has been conducted 147 consecutive years. We are the longest continuously held sporting event in North America, so we're very proud of that claim to fame. The first Derby was conducted in 1875 as a pipe dream by Colonel Meriwether Lewis Clark, who visited Europe in the Epsom Derby and wanted to bring that back to the States. So he leased his lands from his uncles, John and Henry Churchill, who actually owned this property back then. That's Churchill Downs, the story there. But he had a pipe dream and a lot of passion towards wanting to produce this. The first Derby had 10,000 people in attendance, a very small purse that was paid out to the winner. But little did he know that this would become the annual rite of passage for many of us, and have this annual event every year. It is really the backbone of the industry. So small beginnings, big dreams, a lot of blood, sweat, and tears where we are today. So I'm very proud to be part of the history of that. This Community Connections group today gives us a chance to connect Churchill Downs to everybody in the community. The Kentucky Derby, although we host that every year and we own the facility, the Derby really belongs to each of you. What makes the Kentucky Derby special each and every year is all of you in the community. So when people come to visit, when they go to the hotels, when they go to your restaurants, when they walk around town and talk, Derby is special because of this community. So we want to embrace that and make sure the entire fabric of this community is involved in Churchill Downs in every way possible. And I hope a few of you who witnessed some of the horse training down there, I saw you petting some horses, hopefully some new ownership groups pop up from this and get a Derby horse sometime soon, or just a horse to run at Churchill Downs. So we're looking forward to new ownership groups to be part of the sport. Churchill has a lot of history, and I think it's important to state that our beginnings were very integrated with the African American community. 13 of 15 of the first jockeys in the first Derby were African Americans. 15 of the first 28 winners of the Kentucky Derby were African American jockeys. The very first trainer of the Aristides was African American. So our sport started as an integrated society, inclusive of everybody, and we definitely want to get back to that point in time. So it's important that Churchill Downs listens to the community, understands what Mr. Linton and the group has to say, and these very important connections that we do on these breakfasts. So we're very proud to be part of that connection. Again, Mr. Linton asked me to speak about how I got here. It's not an interesting story, so I apologize, but I grew up about 8 miles south of here, south into town, and my parents actually grew up within a couple miles. One of my dad off Taylor Boulevard, went to the same elementary school. Both my mom and dad went to Southern Middle School, so we had a connection there. Actually, my grandmother grew up, her house was 5 doors down from Southern Middle School, so I'm very integrated with this Beachmont area and Churchill Downs area. And like you, I didn't go to the track. I just was around the track. I cruised Iroquois Park. I had really no aspirations to become president of this track. I tell a lot of people 2 things in my life. I've been really lucky, and I'm a hard worker. So I got to this point, I guess, James, for your request is, when I got a college degree in accounting, I became a CPA. I was lucky enough to land a job here about 25 years ago as a controller in their finance department, and just hard work, just worked my way through finance and different departments, risk management, investor relations. And when Mr. Flannery announced his retirement last fall, really I had no idea that I would be in this position today. I was, again, hard work. I fought through the interview process and said I could make a difference here, and was lucky enough and blessed to get this opportunity as president, the 14th president of this facility. So thank you. So nothing fancy, just a lot of hard work and a lot of luck, and have a great team, 250 full-time employees that we represent this community, this state, this entire country, and so very proud to be part of the history, next chapter of the history book before we pass the torch on to the next leadership group. So I'm very happy for each and every one of you to be here today. I hope that you'll come back often. Our doors are open for the entire community. We want to make sure that we get back to where we were before. The essence of the Derby is the community. You guys own this place. You guys own the Derby and the essence of it. So I'll be more than happy to continue to make these connections with you guys. Thank you so much.
If you're just tuning in, you are joining us, Community Connection Radio Group and show, Diversity Breakfast, being hosted by Churchill Downs. And you just got through hearing Mike, the president of Churchill Downs, speak. So go ahead, Mo.
Thank you, Stacy and Bruce. All right. And thank you, everyone who is watching us on YouTube channel. Thank you for always supporting us. Yesterday, I was doing a radio interview, and I was asked, what is the solution? What steps should we take to stop some of the killing in our city and some of the violence? And I was very honest with the person. I said, I don't know how to do that, but I have one solution we can do, and I'm going to announce it at the Diversity Breakfast tomorrow. So I need Muhammad to stand, Aaron to stand, Kim to stand up, Othello to stand up, Delene to stand up. Who am I missing? Where's Neil? Can't find Neil. Neil, Lee, and who else is Sharice. Thank you for flying back from Florida to be here today, too. Thank you. Bruce, Stacy. Now listen, we know there's more murders happening here than almost in Chicago. Primarily because of two things. Parents have not been parents. We've had two generations of parents who have missed their responsibilities. So you ask yourself, do you give up on them because they bad kids now? No. So this is what I came up with. And these people standing are going to help us. And I'm hoping everybody else in this room will sign on, because this will be a major, major event for the city of Louisville, held at the waterfront. Kathy, you need to be standing too. I'm sorry. Stand up. So, I don't know how I missed you over there. We can't do anything without money. So I don't know how I missed you over there. So you need to be standing up. So this is what I'm proposing, okay? We have a event at the waterfront where we have 20 or 30 organizations that do positive things with young people to give them some organized activity, okay? We know they're in gangs. We know that they're running the streets at 1 a.m., 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning. The parents don't know where they are. Barbara, you need to be standing too. I'm sorry. So, who did I miss? Cerise. She's standing. She's back there. Okay. Sorry. I mean, Sean Spencer. Yeah, of course. Larry, Pastor, you need to be standing as well. So this is what I'm proposing. 30 groups that have organized activity. Then I'm going to need 30 groups that can employ young people who are of the legal age and can work. Then I'm going to need at least 5 sets of counselors that can talk to these kids because they're angry. And then we want to have the entire city network. Then I'm going to need Pastor Larry. I'm going to need you to bring the prayer team down. And we want to have prayer down on the waterfront. And then Aaron, I'm going to need you to do the entertainment part to make sure we have all the kids who are doing good work in the city. We want the kids who are falling off track to see what they're able to do. Ken, your group, Lee, Othello, you're going to have to do all the paperwork on this thing, okay? You're an attorney. I trust you more than I trust anybody. Derby City Gaming should be standing up as well. So let's stand up, guys. Derby City Gaming. Okay.
So Tasha Craig, I need you to stand up too.
Tasha Craig.
You're going to be part of my council.
Miss Royster over here, who writes all the books.
Yes.
Everybody in the city needs to be standing. She has more contacts than anybody in the city. This is going to be a major, major undertaking. So we need a committee to put this thing together really quick. When I say committee, I don't want you to be meeting just to be meeting. I want you to meet, come up with a date on this thing, and have it in the next 30 days.
Oh.
So, can we do this together?
Yes. Yeah.
Can we do this together?
Yeah.
Can we do this together?
Yeah.
When we bring great minds, great organizations together, and provide a little hope for these young people, we can make a difference. Now, you asked me, and they asked me yesterday, can we save them all? No.
No.
We can't. But we can save some of them. And if we just save one, we've done our job. I'm going to share a story. What happened into Lincoln, bear witness, Neil was there. We were at the waterfront Saturday, having a great time at Aaron's event. Aaron had probably 5,000 or 10,000 people over here. We're feeding people. We're rocking and rolling. We had about 140 kids over by the water park. Started fighting when they gather. It's going to be some trouble because that's all they know to do. You know, it's always about colors, money, drugs, whatever they're doing. They start fighting. They start shooting. They have no respect for anybody. The parents don't talk. You even went down and broke it up. You went down and broke the fight up. You know, so we got to reach these kids. I don't have all the answers. That's why this team right here will have the answer. Stacy, you're going to have to set up a Zoom meeting. I want everybody on the Zoom meeting. I want the Zoom meeting to be quick. It has to be 60 minutes or less. Don't waste a lot of people's time. Let's come in, let's get this thing organized, and let's move swiftly. Listen, we can do this. We can save 500, 1,000, 2,500. We can save some lives. We can put these kids to work. They need money in their pocket. When you start talking about put the pills down, stop selling the drugs, they got to have something to replace it.
Right.
So we got to get them a job at Derby City Gaming. We got to get them a job at Churchill Downs. We got to get them a job over there at Sean Spencer. She has an employment agency. All kind of companies come through there. Well, let's feed her employment agency and hire these kids.
Yeah.
Let's get them off the street. So this is my solution. I promised you I would have some solution. Now it won't. It's not going to fix the world, but this is a start. We can really ignite the flame where other people will duplicate our efforts. So we want everybody to do something, but we're going to be the first ones. We're going to do this really quickly. When you setting up the Zoom?
Actually, I'm going to take one of those sign-in sheets, and for every group, if you can just, everybody that's going to be on the Zoom, if you can just write your name, your phone number, and your email address. So, yeah, thank you. If we can get this started, let's just leave it up front on one of the tables.
There's one on every table.
Okay, if you just put your information on there and just put Zoom next to it, so when I gather
Renee, and why are you two not standing? Did I not call you? You two guys? You three ladies? I'm so sorry. And you know you better get up. Years ago, she didn't know this till I had on the radio. I had a big crush on her years ago. So back in the day, we was like 12. I used to ride her bicycle. You remember those days? But anyway, guys, we can do this.
So please make sure you write your name, phone number, and email address so that when I set the Zoom up, I can send you an invite to either your cell phone, whichever one you want me to do, your cell phone or your email address. So please make sure you put your information on the form.
Miss Ann, we need you for structure. Okay? You are the most organized person I know. So I'm going to need you to help keep this group organized. Miss Deborah, I need you to get your church involved and get everybody involved and just reach out. Am I forgetting anything? Haven, am I forgetting anything? Stacy, Bruce, Sharice, Neil, Lee. Come here, Lee. And Kim, Othello, come up here real quick. Neil, walk up here. All these strong brothers. Give them a hand as they come up here. If I forget.
Okay. You got anything, Lee? I think you covered it all. Jason and I talked about this a lot. It's really up to us to save this generation. Just to help them. And let them know that we care. A lot of them don't feel like anybody cares what happens to the situation, and I think that's where some of the anger is born from. And we got to just put our hands around them, give them a big hug, and let them know we care. We care what happens with their life, and just love them, really.
Yeah.
No, you hit it on the nail. we gotta hug them. We gotta love them. We gotta show them there's more. We gotta show them that it's more to life than just what you're doing. There are other opportunities out there that are not in the street, and this is amazing because I've been thinking about this because of our organization. We wanted to do something geared towards this exactly, and so teaming up with James here, it was heaven sent. So yes, we're going to do more, and we're going to show them more.
Everybody good?
And I'm going to piggyback off of that. And, you know, a lot of the kids, they mimic what they see. So we got to take them out of what their norm is to show them something new. To let them know that what you see every day is not what occurs in other areas or in other people's lives. We got to show them, and it take brothers like the brothers that's up here and other businessmen and stuff to let them know. You can put on a suit and tie. Your pants don't have to sag. You know, so then, because your appearance is everything, and I'll try to talk to young kids about that when they go for job interviews. Do not go to a job interview without a belt on and your pants are sagging. You need to look like a gentleman with your shirt tucked in, a belt on, and look professional. So if you've never been taught that, if you've never been taught it, you don't know. So it takes a village to try to change the lives of some of these kids.
So I'm excited. We're going to do this, right? I'm excited. If we're going to do it, let's clap. We're going to do this, let's clap. All right. I know we're running way over. I want you guys continue to network when this is over, okay? We have some giveaway prizes. Everybody who is still here is going to be a winner. So we got some great tickets and some gifts under here. You want to come help me with the gifts over there? Come on over here. Let's go. We're going to give away some gifts. I want you to pray us out real quick. I want you to pray for healing in our event. So
let's pray. God, this has been a great morning. Your presence makes all the difference. Your presence gives us hope. Your presence brings grace and love and appreciation and respect. God, we pray for this event that is we're dreaming about. And we pray for our children, Lord. We pray for their protection and their safety. We pray, God, that you would use us to really bless our city, to make it what it can be, what you dream it to be. Amen.
Amen. Thank you so much for joining us. Any final words real quick to wrap this up? Bruce, Stacy?
I just want to thank everyone for coming out and making this another successful diversity breakfast. I'm so excited about this. And to our listeners that's tuned in, thank you for tuning in to Community Connection Radio Group and Radio Show Diversity Breakfast. This has been an awesome morning, and I'm so looking forward to the Waterfront Project.
Amen.
I want to thank you also. And tune in on Saturday mornings from 7 to 8, 104.7.
You can follow us online at www.wlouonline.com.
We have a great show. If you'd like to come on the show, just contact me and we'll book you on the show.
We'll make it happen. So, Mo, you up for giveaway?
Well,
what do you want to do? How do you want to do this?
Well, we got tickets for the spring meet and tickets for the fall meet, okay. And then we got some hats here as well. So I know you're gonna want a hat, aren't you? You know, you gonna want a hat. But I was gonna give you a hat. You give it back to me in the parking lot.
If you want to give me the tickets, I can walk around and pass them out and give everybody.
This is spring meet, okay. And this is fall meet.
Okay, we'll just pass out everybody.
So everyone who is still here, we don't have time to give them away. We got to get off the air. And you guys continue to network. And thank you all so very much for giving so freely of your time. And thank you for agreeing to work with us on this Peace Fest. That's what we're going to call it. Peace Fest, Stop the Killing. 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 So I want you to start tagging. It's coming. Peace Fest, Stop the Killing. We're going to do it at the waterfront. Peace Fest, Stop the Killing. Thank you again for coming out.